In this video, I want to show you guys exactly how to set up an electronic filing system for small businesses. Go to my search box and I say registration. And then what happens then, you can see on your search, everything that's got to do with registrations actually pops up on that search itself. So you can say save. So what then happens from here is as soon as I save this document over on my phone, the next minute when I go down to my computer, that document will automatically be on my computer. And obviously, let's say for instance, like our data file at the office is 200 gigabytes, where that to do the whole backup of that specific files, or for all my files, maybe it takes me 5 minutes a week. Good day. Welcome to the channel of SA Accounting Network. My name is Heinrich Grove and I've been in the accounting industry since 2008, and over the years I've helped many small businesses set up electronic filing systems for their small businesses. So remember to like the video and to subscribe to my channel as well. Now let me head down to my computer, then I will show you exactly what we're going to be discussing today. So as I mentioned here, we're going to be talking about the electronic filing systems for small businesses. So there's basically 5 topics that I'm going to touch on in the video today. The first one that we're going to be talking about is Internet Explorer and how you can use Internet Explorer as a filing system for your small business. The second software system or software that we're going to be looking at is Paperport, which we use at our office as well. We've been using this little software program probably for the past 10 years. And it is really a game changer for us when it comes to filing for small businesses. The next one we're going to be looking at is Dropbox and how you can effectively use Dropbox as a filing system for your small business. And then the fourth one we're going to be just touching on quickly is a little tool that we use at our office that I would be completely lost without as well. It's a system called, or a little program called Free Snipping Tool. And then the last one we're going to be talking about is backups as well. And one little program that we use at our office as well is called Synctoy. So I just want to just give you a little bit of background. And then just the last part, I'm just going to be talking about just a few small other considerations that you need to be aware of when it comes to electronic filing systems. So let's go for it. So the first thing is Windows Explorer. So what I'm going to be touching on quickly is just the format of your database, the naming of your documents, and the saving of your documents. So let me jump down to my computer and then I will show you what I've got together for you. So if you remember that I did a video a while ago where I was talking about the filing system for small businesses, which is a hard copy filing system. So they would have physical files. So it is important maybe just to go watch that video as well, because it forms the basis of what we're going to be discussing over here, because a lot of things is going to be similar to what we discussed over there. Remember in that video we talked about having a compliance file. So in an electronic system you can also have the same system, but it's just in a different format. So if you look at how I set up this company, so I just went into Dropbox and I just made a sample company for you guys to see what it is about. So you can see that I've made these folders. Now obviously 2020 is for that financial year, 2021 is for the current financial year. We've got one for bank, one for your B certificate, subsidy returns, company tax, pay-as-you-earn registration documents, your SAGE reports, tax clearances, URA, VAT, WCA. So let me quickly start with the compliance stuff first. So if you look at your registration documents, you can see that inside this folder that says pay-as-you-earn registration certificate, there you've got your certificate itself inside that folder. So anything to do with the registrations, you file all those documents together inside one folder which is called registration documents. So it doesn't matter what you're looking for, you will always be able to find those documents inside this folder. So this second one is your subsidy registration documents. You can see there I've got the registration, and then I've got a little disclosure as well that we've got over there. The next one is your UIF certificates or your registration documents over there. We can see I've got the application that we filled in when we did the original application, and then the certificate that corresponds with that as well. Then there you've got your VAT registration certificate. So you'll also see something that I've did over here, or that I've done, or that we do at the office, is the naming of your documents. So you can see each one of them, we actually name it according to what the document is, instead of just scanning the document in and just giving it some random file, scan 001 or scan 002, because the problem is if you want to search for something, you can't find those documents. So let me quickly show you. If I go back to my sample company and I just go to my search box and I say registration, And then what happens then, you can see on your search, everything that's got to do with registrations actually pops up on that search itself. So you can see there we've got a folder that says registration documents. There's my VAT certificate, my pay-as-you-earn certificate, my UIF certificate, my SIPC certificate, and my pay-as-you-earn certificate. So you can see everything that's got to do with registrations then will then pop up on that search, because the reason why is that we filed that we renamed those documents according to what the purpose is or what that actual document is. Let's quickly go back to that folder. Let me just cancel the search over here. Yeah, so there we've got the registration document. So you can see that inside my BE certificate, there's my current BE certificate for the current financial year. You can see my SIPC returns. Remember, there's once a year return that you need to file with SIPC. So you can see over there is my 2019 certificate that I filed that return. And you can see my 2020. I think it's still, no, it is in there as well. So that's perfect. So the 2020 one is done. And then you can see that we've got our company tax. So my company tax return or my assessment from the receiver of revenue is inside that folder over there. And then you can see over there is my 2020 assessment. So same thing over here. If I'm inside this folder and I want to look for a specific assessment, I would just type there and say assessment. Then you can see over there it pops up with my assessment for those specific years. So there's definitely value. It does take a few seconds longer to rename those documents, but in the long term, the benefits definitely outweigh the little bit of effort that you need to put into that. You can see your pay as you earn as well. You can see here's all my returns. So if I want to see what happened inside my 2020 year, then you can see there's all my ones. So even with the naming of the folders, you can see that we name them according to month. You can see 2020, 1903. Everything to do with that specific month is in there. So in there, I've got copies of my pay slips. I've got copies of my actual physical returns that we've done. So everything to do with that specific pay as you earn return gets saved inside that folder over there. You can see recons. Remember, twice a year you have to do a pay as you earn recon as well. So you can see over there is all the stuff for your recons. So then it's also very easy to find those reconciliations. Let's quickly have a look at Sage reports. So although most of our clients, or we prefer to use Sage One account, but it's always good just to print out the reports on a monthly basis, your income statement, balance sheet, and your ledger, maybe your debtors list and your creditors list. So you've got a copy of that information, so you can see that these are the reports that we then put inside that specific folder. So for every folder, you can see you've got an accounts transaction report, a balance sheet, customer balances, profit and loss detail, and your supplier balances. So if you maybe want to go look at anything regarding that specific period, then you can always access those reports over there. So your Sage reports, is good to have that as well. You can see there we've got a tax clearance certificate. So that's saved inside a folder over there. UIF, same story as what we did with the salary. So inside that folder, if there's UIF returns, you would file them over there. Let's quickly have a look. VAT returns. So same thing over there. For every period, you would have your return, a VAT reconciliation, and any other working documents that relates to that specific VAT period. You will save inside that folder. And then you can see over there, workman compensation. Remember, there's a return once a year. You need to file with them. So inside that folder as well, you will have a copy of your return that you've done, your letter of good standing, and any working documents that you've got that relates to that period. Then when it comes to banking, it's always a good idea to make a folder for your bank account. So you can see for our sample company, I've made two bank accounts. I've got an FNB account and then a Standard Bank account. So inside my FNB account, you can see inside that folder, we've got all the bank statements saved. And once again, once we save them, we actually rename them once again according to the month. Because then if you need to go search for a specific bank statement, it's very easy to try and find it then. So for this sample over here, we've got two bank accounts. We've got a Standard Bank and that one. So if I maybe want to go find the 2020-09 bank statements, then you can see, oh dear, I typed wrong, 2020-09 bank statements. Then you can see there's my Standard Bank one, and then there's my FNB one. So that is also really useful when it comes to your bank accounts, to be able to save it in the same sequence. So you just mention it according to the month, and then you just put a prefix behind it for the specific month that you are looking at. Period. So and then what I want to show you as well quickly is if you look at the saving of documents itself, we will look at that in just now in Dropbox, but you can possibly even use like a scanner on your computer to look for specific things. You can see that how I saved these slips over here. You can see that it's called 2020-0902 fuel, 2020-0903 food pick and pay. You can see that I reference it to the date, and then I reference it to the category that I classified on my accounting system, and then it's even a good idea just to classify it according to the supplier that you use. The reason why you want to do that is if I go into, let's say for instance, my company, and I want to see what happened in September, then I go inside tab 2020-09, and then everything that happened in that specific period, you can see that your office supplies, you can see there you've got your fuel, food that you bought, anything at Checkers, everything that relates to that specific period, and then pops up on that search over there. If I want to see what I spent at Checkers, I will search for Checkers, and then anything that I've saved or that I've scanned and renamed Checkers will pop up there inside that folder. So that is one of the reasons why it does take a few seconds longer to rename those files, but then once you've got it there, then it's very easy to be able to find those documents. So there's a folder then for every month of the specific year, and then as you go on, then you can just obviously keep on adding your documents over there. And I think this is a very good format to use. You can obviously expand this format. You can even do folders for your suppliers, maybe for your invoices. You can do customer statement, a folder for customer statements. So you can just keep a copy of it electronically. And I mean, it doesn't really take a lot of data. And so it's very easy to work with. I think that's in a nutshell Internet Explorer. The next one that we're going to be looking at is Paperport. The second program that we're going to be looking at is called Paperport. So this is a little software system that we've been using at our office, like I said before, probably for about the past 10 years. And it is something that we would be completely lost without at our office. Let me quickly show you. So then remember that same folder that we were looking at on Internet Explorer, this one that says Dropbox Sample Company. So now I'm going to look at that specific same folder inside my Paperport program itself. So you can see the advantage now is that you can actually color code your specific folder. So you know that if you've done your VAT returns and your UIF returns, you can color code those folders blue. Now I know that I need to give my tax clearance certificate some attention, so because it obviously expired, so that is the reason why I made that tax clearance folder red. So as soon as I'm finished with that, I can go to folder color, and then once I'm finished sorting that out, I can then go and recolor that specific folder to make it blue. So you can see inside every folder, all the documents that's listed over there, you've got a little picture of that specific document. So if I want to go, let's say for instance at my record keeping, you can see if I want to look in the 2020-09 folder, you can see over there is all my little slippies that I've saved inside that specific folder. So this is in a nutshell. Like I said, the big thing that we love about this program is that it's got this function over here. The scanning functionality in Dropbox or in Paperport is really awesome. And then you've got this folder management thing where you can actually go into every single folder and you get these little pictures of what's happening inside that specific folder. So it's very similar to Internet Explorer. The function, like I said, the addition is that you do have that option to color code your folders, and then obviously it's just a very nice management system to be able to see what's happening inside your files. Let's quickly see the next one we're going to be talking about is Dropbox. So if you're not sure about what Dropbox is, remember that is that system that you can use to share data between different computers. And the reason why we like Dropbox is that you can actually link it to your cell phone, to an app. So what happens is if you're using Dropbox, and let's say for instance I've got it, I'll show you this now. Okay, so the next program that I want to show you guys quickly is it's called Dropbox. So if I go to my phone, and if I go to my little Dropbox app that I've got on my phone, then you can see over here, I've got a folder over here. Let me just get to the right folder on my phone. Into my folder over here, that is 2021, and I go into my folder now for October. So what I want to do is that the slip that I bought, you can see this one over here, It says SoundWorks, so this is when I bought my smart tab that I use for my recordings. So I want to scan this document now. So I'm going to press the little button there that says create. And then I'm going to say scan document. And I'm going to point it at this specific document over there. And then you can see that little blue circle over there runs. Once I've done, I'm going to say record. And then you can see over there, it is creating a PDF of that specific document. So I can then go next. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to rename this document over here. So you can see that there I can backspace. And I'm going to call it 2020 1010. SoundWorks. If I can spell. And possibly equipment. And then I'm going to say done. And say save. So what then happens from here is as soon as I save this document over here on my phone, the next minute when I go down to my computer, that document will automatically be on my computer. And obviously over here I've got small versions of the specific documents that I've scanned in before as well on your phone. So this is a really, really nice functionality that Dropbox has, where you can actually go and save documents on your phone, and by the time you get to the computer, then those documents are already scanned on your computer. So there I've got an electronic copy of this specific invoice that I've scanned into my computer now. Synctoy, it's a cloud-based backup. So all the documents that you've got on your computer, you've got a copy of that in the cloud. So if you log into any computer, you can access your files. And it's really nice for backups as well, because you know that you always have a backup somewhere of your information. It's got Gmail integration that we can talk about as well. And obviously the alternative, I think, to Dropbox is Google Drive. I will see if I can get somebody to have a chat to you about Google Drive. We prefer the office just to use Dropbox. The reason why is because we've got various different computers, and if we saw our data on Dropbox, if I work on this computer now and I jump and I'll go and sit and work on that computer or the other one, I know that all the files are exactly the same. Doesn't matter which computer I'm busy working on. So Dropbox, I think the main thing is, like I said, that you've got this functionality that it syncs data between your computers. You can see there is my little icon and it says Dropbox up to date. So if I maybe save something onto that computer, then I will get a notification on this computer that a file was added. Or if I go into my phone and I scan in a document like I showed you, then that document will appear on my computer as well. The other one is free snipping tool. Let me quickly show you guys what this is about. So if let's say for instance I've got an invoice open. Let's say for instance this was an invoice and I want to just grab a certain portion of that invoice. Then I'll click on that little thing. I'll go to free snipping tool, highlight that specific area, press my copy one over there, go to my Paperport. If I decide that this relates to an invoice that was created in 2020-10, then I would go and paste it over there. And then you can see there, I've got an image of that specific thing that I've done. So you can see that is what the free snipping tool is about. So any document that you've got in your computer, anything that you want to highlight, even if I want to take that and I pop it into an email, I can cut out that little section of whatever it is that I'm busy with, and I can then just go in, put that into that specific document. And again, Paperport, the renaming of stuff is really easy. So I can just go 2020-1008. If this was stationery, I would just rename it, just like that. Easy peasy. So you can see over there is what free snipping tool is about. Like I said, it's a little software program. I can possibly even do a little tutorial on that at some stage, but you just go and Google it, download the one that says free snipping tool, install it, and then you've got this little functionality over there where you can just cut things out of documents and then just save it for a later date. I think that is really, really handy to do. Backups, as quickly see, is the next thing that we're going to be talking about. And the one that we prefer to use at the office is called Synctoy. I will show you quickly how it works on my physical computer. Let me quickly show you guys how Synctoy works. So let me quickly share my screen again with you, so you can just quickly see how it works. So once you've downloaded the program, this is what it looks like. So I would say over here that I want to create a new folder pen. So on the left hand side is the one that you want to copy over. So I'm going to go to my computer, and I'm going to go to my data file, and let's say for instance I want to go look at Dropbox, and I want to take my sample company. Where's my sample company? That one over there, and I want to copy that over to the right hand side. I'm going to go computer, just for this purpose I'm going to go to my local disk, and I'm just going to make a new folder over here that's just going to say backup. Normally you would do that on a loose hard drive, or you can do it on your own computer. Next button over there is going to ask you to synchronize, so this is to make sure that the left and the right folder correspond with each other. We normally say echo, so which means that you're copying from the left hand side over to the right hand side. So next, and over here we're going to call this thing backup, and we say finish, and then what happens then is then once you're done you say run. So now it's going to start looking for differences between the two different folders. Obviously this is the first time that I'm running it, so you can see it's just copying the information straight from the one side over to the other side. But once you've run it the first time, you'll see the second time that it's going to run it, it's going to first scan that specific folder, and the next time is only going to, the files that change, there's only those documents that you're going to be copying over from the one side to the other side. So let's maybe see if I go and fiddle around a little bit inside this folder over here, and I maybe, let's say for instance I'll go into my pay-as-you-earn folder. For this purpose I'm just going to say that I want to delete this folder, because this is just a sample that I wanted to show you guys. And maybe the information that's inside this folder, I'm going to take all of it, I'm going to say cut, and then I'm just going to paste it into a different folder. So if I go here, and I just paste it in there. So I just move a few things around, and I say move and keep both files. We'll do that for 11, all 11 of them. And I go back to my Synctoy, and now I say once again run. Then you'll see what happens now. You can see it is only the folders that we worked on that is actually just copying over. So you can see it's deleting the files at the moment, and you can see there's probably going to be renaming some files. So you can see over there it's renamed 13 files, deleted 226, no 13 files, yeah, and then there was some error that happened. I know there is a place over there where it says C error. So you can see over there it tells you what the issue was. But I know that this specific file that they're talking about is just the Paperport file itself that didn't copy over. So that's in a nutshell how Synctoy works. It's a really, really cool little program that we use at our office, obviously on a weekly basis. And yeah, this is Synctoy. And then once we're done, so the main thing about Synctoy is just the fact that you can make backups of your documents. Let's say for instance like our data file at the office is 200 gigabytes, where that to do the whole backup of that specific files, or for all my files, maybe it takes me 5 minutes a week. So it's a thing where it actually goes to compares two different data files with each other, and only the little small part that actually changes, the only thing that gets that gets backed up to your database. And then yeah, so the naming of folders again is quite important. It's very easy to use. And then the other thing is just backup management. They always talk in auditing terms that you must always have 3 variations of your data files or of your backup. So the idea is that you've got 3 different hard drives. So the 2 of them would be on site. So one would normally be first in somewhere in your office over here. Second one will be locked up inside a safe somewhere, and the third copy you would keep them that offsite. And then the idea is that you circulate those copies on maybe on a weekly basis. So once a week you would take the one that you've got locked away, take that offsite. The one that is offsite you will bring it back into the office, so you can replace the data that's on that one, and then the one that was inside the office you put that back into the safe again. So you can always make sure that you've got different versions of your data available. I remember a friend of mine, they broke into their offices and they stole all their computers, and luckily he had one hard drive that was hidden away that they couldn't find, and he was very, very lucky. Otherwise he would have lost almost like 10 years worth of data in one go. So always remember to make sure that you do proper backups of your data. Other considerations is paper files. So as I did in my previous video as well, remember that it's always still a good idea to make sure that you do keep those paper files. So if you've got a proper filing system on your computer itself, then I wouldn't go to the extent to set up like a whole filing system to duplicate everything in paper itself, but maybe just keep records of it. So even if you take a box and you take 1 year at a time, put all the documents that relates to 2020 inside one box or folder, whatever you're going to use, 2021 inside one, so that if you do need to go find those documents 5 years down the line, that you do actually have the hard copies of it. The second one is the POPI Act. So you must always just be careful as well when you save documents electronically. Go check that out as well. There's a couple of things you have to be careful for, and then just be careful of passwords as well. If you save passwords electronically, it's always a good idea just to have some additional protection in place if you're working with passwords. Just stuff like on Excel, make sure that you've got passwords on your spreadsheets where you're storing the documents, and even I know that you get some really good password management software as well, where you've got this little system that protects all your passwords so nobody get access to that systems. So I think in this video I've given you guys some really good pointers of what to do when it comes to electronic filing systems. There is obviously a lot more that can be said about electronic filing systems. People do this stuff for a living, they specialize in this. So I think with this video, I basically just scratched the surface, but I think it's just important that you are aware that electronic filing systems do work well. And then remember to like the video again, subscribe to my channel, and then just keep your eyes open for the next video. Thanks for watching.